Good morning, all. Welcome back to SewGrannySew. I'm excited for Easter, and I hope you all are too. We are going to finish up our Easter table runner today. So we have our three pieces, our front, our back, and then our batting. So you don't have to bat it. Some people choose not to. I like the extra cushioning in it, especially if I'm going to set something on it on the table. So we're going to go ahead and start. We're making it inside out, and I don't know if you're familiar with that, but we just sew it all together so we don't have to put a binding on. You can still put a binding on if you'd like, but I prefer not to. So what we're going to do is we are going to put our first piece down, and we're going to put that base up. Now this is going to sound funny going in this order. And then we're going to put our backing right side down. And we're just going to line up the ends of that. So does everybody have big Easter plans? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. We have relinquished the holidays because we have such a small house. So we're letting all the kids take over the holidays. So we are going to my daughter's for Easter this year. All the grandkids are getting so big that it's hard to get everybody in our house now. So okay, so we got the two right sides together with our front and back. Then we're going to take our batting. Now I'm using the cotton poly batting with scrim. I prefer to have the scrim. Some people don't. So you can feel the different textures. This side is a little bit rougher. This side is a little bit softer. So we want the rougher side up or down towards the fabric. So when I sew mine, if you want to make your batting a little bit bigger than your project, you certainly can, whether you're doing a quilt or a runner. And that helps to make sure that you get it in. Some people don't like the batting in their seams. Some people do. I mean, it's all, you do you. That's basically what quilting is about. So I'm going to go ahead, once I got that on, I'm going to flip that over. And I'm going to make sure we are good and lined up. My batting is just a hair bigger all the way around. So we're good there. So basically I am checking out whether my purples line up, my front and back of the runner. Once we have it all lined up, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pin that in place. Now you can use the quilting clips if you want. So if you prefer not to use the pins, you could certainly use a few of these and just clip those on your runner. They're a little easier to take off, not as pokey when you're sewing. So once we get it all clipped all the way around, we are going to sew, and I'm going to leave it opening at an end. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew that corner, and I'm going to sew all the way around with a 1/4-inch seam all the way back up to this corner. And I'm just going to go in a little ways there. You want to leave an opening so you can turn it the right way when you're done. So we're going to go ahead and get it pinned into place. Sew a 1/4-inch seam all the way around. Normally you only have to use a 1/4 inch. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave mine with a 1/2 inch. For one thing, when you iron it flat, then that batting is going to lay a little bit flatter if you have a little more there to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get this all pinned into place, get it to the sewing machine, and sew that 1/2 inch seam all the way around except for leaving that opening. If you would like, on the opening, you could just mark it with some pins, seeing as we're using clips to put it together, where we're going to leave our opening at. So we remember, don't sew between there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, get it sewn up, and I will meet you back here. We have our runner all sewed in with that 1/2 inch seam around there. So on your corners, once you sew them in, you want to clip down, making sure not to cut the seam, but go right close to it. That will just help them so they tuck in a little bit better. And that is why we went in past the corner. So when we fold it in to sew it, we're not biting that part. Go ahead and cut all 4 corners off. Okay, then we're going to reach in here in between the 2 layers of fabric, and we're going to pull our runner the right way. You just want to work your way back through with it. I like to get both corners to get those peaks nice and pulled through. Now, when I didn't tell you that, but when you start and stop sewing on this, you want to make sure that you backstitch, because when you're pulling it through like this, you're going to rip that out if you do not backstitch on it. Okay, now you can use your finger or whatever you got. I'm going to use the scissor tips and poke that corner through nice and good. So a nice and squared corner. And we'll reach in and do that to the other end as well. I just put my finger over the tip like that when I'm reaching in, making sure not to poke anything. We got those all done. We are going to start working our way around our runner. We're going to flip that end in first and get that nice and lined up with the rest of it, so we know where we're going to sew. Okay, and you can clip that into place if you want to hold that while you're working on it. Okay, then we're just going to work our way around there and start rolling. Not too much roll, because remember, we got a bigger piece of batting in there. I'm just going to keep rolling all the way around it, and then kind of push that flat a little bit. Then once we got that all rolled out like that, we're going to bring it to the ironing board and iron it flat. Once we have it nice and flat, we're going to start stitching all the way around. So you can do 1 line, you can do 2 line, you can use a decorative stitch, whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and stitch all the way around, because then I'm going to come back through and I'm going to do something down the sides. I thought it'd be really cute to actually sew rickrack. I'm not a big fan of rickrack. In fact, I've gotten rid of all my rickrack over the years. To me, it was just dated to the 70s. Now it's made its comeback and everybody's using it. I thought, how cute would that be with some pastel colored rickrack on that? But I have none to put on there. I mean, if not, you could do some eyelet lace or whatever you have to decorate yours up. I'm just going to do a stitch on mine. So I'm going to go ahead, get it iron flat, get it stitched around. While I'm stitching around it, I'm of course going to do these lines here, and I will bring it back and show you the finished product. Have our runner all finished. So I was going to go ahead and stitch in between, but I did something else. So I'll show you that. But if you look at this, I just did it's a set stitch on my sewing machine on the edges of it. I didn't want it directional, so if it all pointed in, which means you'd have to follow that along the border. And at the time I was thinking here, so I didn't want it to go one way or the other and not be unison. OCD, I know. So I did go ahead and stitch all that in. So that's done all the way around. It's at the other end. So there is what it looks like when you join that in. So it's not no big deal. When you put the 2 edges that you had to sew that opening from. So it looks the same as the rest of it does. So instead of doing the lines in between, because you need to quilt like every 10 inches, I believe, with this batting in here. Your batting will tell you on the package how far apart you need to quilt in. So some say like 6, some say 8, 10. This particular 80/20 batting I'm using says 10 inches. So we need to quilt at least every 10 inches. So instead of putting the lines there, I seen I had a little bit of fraying along some of the edges of the applique. So I just went ahead and went around with a bigger zigzag all my eggs again. So if I flip that over, so there's the half egg, the full egg. On here, the chick goes in here in yellow and stuff, so I didn't want to mess with that one. And then, of course, the full egg at this end as well. So here is our finished product. I think it turned out adorable. Nice little runner for Easter. I mean, if you wanted to make points on the end of your runner. You know, you could do that. Maybe dress it up, put some rickrack or whatever, you know, make it you. We are running at approximately 35 inches long and 12 inches wide, which is the perfect size. I didn't want a big long one for the Easter runner. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of that one. It's quick, it's simple. If you're a fresh beginner, you could always just take a printed fabric you like on the top, a solid of whatever on the back, do your batting, stitch around it, turn it inside out like we did, and then just do some quilting on it and practice your quilting. You can do whatever you want, you guys. It's your runner, your way. So however you guys want to do it, that's the way I would go with. I want to wish you guys all a happy Easter from our house to yours. And as always, guys, if you found this video useful, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really helps our channel grow. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we'd love to have you here at SewGrannySew. Thanks all. Have a happy Easter. Bye.